Let's get into some toe curling topics. Today's topic is the enemies to lovers trope. So, Jordan, what do you love most about the enemies to lovers trope?
The tension. It's my favorite because it's sexual tension that's built up between them, but it's also like animosity toward each other because they're not willing to admit that they like each other because because there's stuff that they don't like about the other person, but it's also one of the things that finds them attractive. It's such a funny oxymoron, and it makes it some
Yeah,
of the best like banter back and forth because they're just spicy with each other, like banter wise, and then it just builds the tension. And then when things do get
yeah,
actually really physically spicy, it's so satisfying. It's such a
it
satisfying
is.
thing.
And it's really similar to one of my reasons, which is the ability for authors to really have um, a good character development because they're getting to know each other. We're falling in love with the characters as they're falling in love with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it brings that almost like realness to it. Like you're going through it with
It's true.
I like that. Yeah.
Did you read The Crimson Moth?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so that's a really good recent enemies to lovers one that I recommend you read. And it's
Okay.
also the tension is palpable. Like I could feel it through the book.
Oh, I
There's
love
some
that.
yeah, that was the main reason why I kept reading. Some of the layout of the story is a little wonky, but I enjoyed the enemies to lovers part. I actually have a couple of books here that are top tier with the enemies to lovers because it's very,
Nice.
very, very intense. I believe
I love that.
it's. Go ahead.
What is it? No, go ahead.
I was going to say the King of Battle and Blood, uh, Isolde and Vasiliv. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering his name, but it's very, very, very intense. And
Okay.
it's like a vampire king and the daughter of a foreign prince. Go. Yeah.
Have kids, they said.
Yep. It'd be fun, they said. And you're trying to do something fun, and they come in and they're like, "Hey,
That's
oh,
why you can't have nice things.
no, you really can't." Um,
Hmm.
you have to hide the nice things, and then you forget you
It's
had
true.
nice things.
That is very true.
But anywho's back onto this. So it's a
Yeah.
vampire king who pretty much is like slaughtering all of humankind, and then the king
Yeah,
of the
as they do.
humans, yeah, made a pact, basically offering up his daughter, who's also a badass warrior and can fight too. And
Right on.
they have like a big banter back and forth, and they fight a lot. But then they end up, doing the deed,
Doing some other stuff.
and it's the best she's ever had. And so
Of
it's like
course.
and it's complicated for her because she's like, I need to kill him, but I'm so attracted to him, and she starts developing feelings, and it's become a whole thing. So that's a really good one too.
That sounds good. I love that. And I love the will they, won't they
Mm-hmm.
part of it. Like it just, I think, brings back that whole, I don't know, like angsty feeling. And then I love the end because when you have that, the will they, won't they, it makes nothing can beat true love moment at the end
Mm-hmm.
that much better.
It's true, but it's the will they, won't they, and then adding in the possibility of death too, and
Yeah.
not just from other parties, but even between themselves. Like it's
Hmm.
ups the ante because it's that back and forth of, I really like her but I can't trust her, and it's the same vice versa for her to him. So it's a constant back
Yep.
and forth, and you're in that tension and in that moment, and so you're riding along with both of them throughout that journey until the end. And some of the stories don't end always that happily, but some of them do.
Hmm.
It's one
I
of the
always, you know what? I always think that ones that don't end happily ever after don't get enough hype, I guess. I know everybody wants the like nice happily ever after, but I think there's something to be said for a good tragedy.
well, that, and you feel it more. It sticks with you more, I
Yeah.
think, because it's very common to have that happily ever after. And
Yeah.
generally, life is not always a happily ever
Life is not
after.
like that.
No,
Yeah.
no, life is very hard. So it's a bit more real with it because it's like
Yeah.
they had their time, they had their moment together, and then the situations around them just didn't work out.
Yeah,
Um,
but life goes on.
Life goes on. Like she could sometimes they do that pregnancy trope where she has the
Yeah.
kid or whatever, but or on the rare occasion that it's the female that dies, the female lead, and he has to live on and try to preserve her
Yeah.
memory by doing heroic deeds or something
However,
like yeah. But it's I love those stories. That's my absolute favorite.
I like those. And why, in your opinion, are so many people drawn to the enemies to lovers trope?
Because it's similar to when you're growing up and as cliche as it sounds, it's whenever the boy is like picking on you and you're fed up with that crap and but you don't it doesn't click that he likes you. It's kind of like that. I think it's where it's reading it. You're for the perspective of the reader reading it and living in it with through their point of view. They're picking on each other because they like each other, but they're not willing to admit it. And it's just a fun
Yeah.
kind of banter. And it takes you back to when you're like, oh yeah, so and so probably liked me too. I just didn't realize it until just now. So I think
Yeah.
it's a combination of nostalgia and just a fun experience to see it from a reader's perspective.
Yeah. For me, I think a lot has to do with the passionate emotional response that the characters end up having. Nobody wants like an like an apathy to lovers book. It just doesn't have this same
Not really,
je ne
no.
sais quoi, I guess. And so I think the very strong emotional feelings that they have, it kind of goes to that old saying that hate and love are two sides of the same coin, which is very true. They're both
Mm-hmm.
very intense feelings. And, you have when you have that kind of intense feeling, you have this great chemistry that you can bring into the characters. And I always love that.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Because like I said earlier, tension and the build up and those that intensity throughout the book.
Let's
Oh,
turn the spice up.
yeah. It's not it's like the intensity of the emotions, but also the intensity of the spice when it does occur. It's just like it's
But
tenfold.
going with the spice too, I think, I don't know about you, I know for myself, like I'm a parent of two kids. That part of my life is not very spicy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky to get a solid 8 hours of sleep. And so I think to be able to read some spicier things, it's a good outlet for things that you may not feel comfortable trying in real life, but
Mm-hmm.
still kind of would want to, just not confident enough. Or um, I think it can be, a powerful read when you get to those scenes.
You definitely explore a lot of yourself when you read
Yeah.
these books and this particular trope in general because some of these they go into dark places and they're dealing with a lot. There's a lot of death, mayhem, um, consensual, non-consensual, consensual, like all this different stuff is explored in this type of trope. And so
Yeah.
it can it makes you think like, would I be okay with that? It sounds really
Yeah.
fun.
It makes you really think about those more difficult topics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how would I react in this way? And it goes back to that emotional response. Is your emotional response the same as one of the characters' emotional responses to whatever's going on? I think you're gonna love reading that more. You're gonna identify with that more, and you end up feeling it more.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But it also kind of broadens your mind a little bit because you never thought that that could be a thing. Because there's a lot of stuff
True.
that I was just like, I didn't know this was a
I didn't even
thing.
know this was possible, but okay.
Okay. Okay. And then your reading is like, oh, well, that makes a bit more sense. Because when you first look
Yeah.
at it, you're like, what does that even mean? And then you keep reading, you're like, oh, that's what that
Yes.
means. Oh, well, now I know. And suddenly your
It
horizons
was
have
fun.
widened quite a bit.
Right? Yeah, it was a big education for me. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it's a big education for a lot of women and men too if they read the books.
I agree.
But hint, fellas, read the books. You learn a lot. You
For
learn a lot
real. I
about.
mean, if you want a scroll from heaven that tells you what to do, read a romance novel.
I mean, of course, talk to the girl first.
That's all you need.
Don't take everything from the book. And
Yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
like,
have your girl recommend you a
yeah.
romance novel.
So she doesn't have to explain everything because that's just a turn off. You're
Exactly.
having to like talk through
Oh my
everything.
God, I have to talk through everything at work. I don't want to talk through this.
Yeah,
Figure it
no,
out.
I don't.
Just
The whole point of us, like when we're getting it on, we don't want to thank. We want to just feel it and in
I
the moment.
very much want to not think,
Like
actually.
no more decision
That's
making. No more
that's the
having
appeal.
the minute we have to start thinking and start explaining. It just kills the
Ruins
whole
it.
mood. We don't want
Yep,
that.
it does. All right. Let's chat voice actors. Who or which voice actors to you blur the lines of reality and fantasy?
Teddy Hamilton.
Yeah, he's on my list too. He,
He's my top one. He's actually like the very first. I want to say the first one. Yeah. So I would say he was one of the very first voice actors that I was just like, who is this guy? Why what? Why have I never heard of this man before? Like
yeah,
I had listened to audiobooks before, but not like this. And then I discovered that they have multicasted books where there's actual like a whole production, almost
it's
a
like, oh
book in your
yeah,
ear or
I
a movie
love
in your ear.
those.
Eh, there's a whole series where it's multicasted for every book. Oh my god. Teddy's in it, Jason Clark, Shane East, Aaron
Ooh,
Shedlock, James Joseph. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. There's so many people.
there's so many people.
I want to see Lucy Rivers is in it, and I'm blanking. There's several others like the women that also do multiple voice actors or multiple roles as women in the story. It's just really good. Um, I just named a ton there, but those are like the top ones. If I see that name, I'm like, oh, I know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
What about you?
I I have so Teddy Hamilton was on there, and then I have kind of a niche one, but Mary Jane Wells, who does mostly historical romance, but I love her narrations. She has these like this ability with her inflections, and she just nails it. Like she nails the nuances of each individual character in a book, and like you're not distracted at all. You have a clear idea of each different character. I just love her. And then Andy Arndt, I think, is a really a good one too. She does more of the milder romances. At least that's what I've, listened to her on. Um, and she's got this like almost like welcoming, very calm voice. And so it's almost like buttery, just pulls you into the book.
The female one I was thinking of is Stella Hunter. She's very similar with that.
Hmm.
She can do different languages, different accents on
That's
top of
really difficult.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And I didn't realize this, but when I first heard her, I thought she was British. She's not. She's American.
I that is, I think, the biggest compliment you can give an actor, voice actor. If I hear you and I didn't realize you were British, you did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Like Christian Bale.
Yes.
I had no idea he was British. I remember learning he was British in like high school and being like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would not have known that either. I that
Hmm.
he's got a very good American accent. Um,
Does. He really, really does.
so
I love a good accent.
it's just impressive, really. I didn't even know.
It is.
I'm so happy it's grown into the thing it is now because since the book world has really exploded in the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, it it seems like also narration is also taken flight.
Yes.
There's even like conventions now where you
Everybody's
can meet.
busy. I
Yeah,
mean,
you can meet the narrators now.
yeah,
I'm would love to meet
that's
any of
awesome.
them.
I would
I
love to meet.
there's
We should
actually
look at that.
We should. There's actually a tote. Oh, I don't remember who sells it, but there's a tote where it has like the voice act like says list of voice actor names, and you have them sign it
Ooh.
next to it. One lady was like filling it out, like James Joseph,
Oh
Shane
my
East, and she
God.
was getting them all
That'd be
like written
so
up.
cool.
I was like, I would frame that. I would never use it.
Right? You absolutely frame it. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I know everybody's getting really into narrators now, and I love that. Um, we're just so busy. Like
Mhm.
work, family, if you have kids, you're doing laundry, if you own a house, you got projects. Like there's always something to do. It's so
Mhm.
rare that you get a minute to just sit down. And so I get to listen to my books all the time as I'm doing like chores and everything, and I love it.
Yeah, I do too. And then I scare my kids when there's like a funny part because I'm so involved in the book.
Yeah,
And,
you
and then
laugh.
they, and then I'm like, ha ha ha, that's hilarious. And they're like,
Yep.
what? And I'm like, yeah, don't mind me.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about
Just
it.
folding
Mind,
laundry. I'm living in my
mind your
own
own
world.
business.
Yeah.
This towel is very humorous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love it. I think that's good.
I'm gonna pause it.